All right, guys, we are live and I am here to launch you today. If you'll notice, I left a little scruff on my face just to show you my age and wisdom, because what I'm going to share with you today is literally my 21-year journey through wholesaling. And honestly, I think this is probably going to be one of the most valuable videos you can watch, because I'm going to break you down. If you're just watching a video with me live today, or you're watching any type of guru, I'm not a guru. And I'm going to tell you all the way to the top where I've gotten. And I'm going to show you all the stages I went through from $0 to making my first million and then way upon it. And what I'm going to do is break down the obstacles you have to break down. I'm going to show you the income levels and the problems you're going to reach at each one of them. And you know what? If somebody sat back and peeled this and showed this to me when I started, I at least would have had a strategy, and I probably could have prepared a little bit better for wholesaling. But if you guys are like me, you got ADHD, you just dive right into this thing, that's fine too. Don't overanalyze this. Remember, the purpose of this is to show you the stages from zero to your first $1 million and above. And honestly, when I sat and worked on this, I took a lot of time doing this. I sometimes just surprise myself, and I'm just like, oh my God, that phase hurt. And I've had flashbacks. So those of you who've been around for a long time, if you've ever had a history in a job or a career or anything else you've done, and you have those pivotal moments, that's what allows you to create charts like this. So the bottom line is you have to go through the journey. You have to have a good time doing it. And I love this business. So I want to share it with you. I'm going to get right into it because it's a lot of information. And if you guys hang out with me, if you want to do the mastermind one-on-ones, I already got a few people on there. On the YouTube channel, the link is there. You just click that to go to StreamYard. And on the comment section, on the right-hand side there, introduce yourselves. Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know what's going on if you're working on some deals, and make some new friends, guys. This is a safe place. I'm never going to ask you for money. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'm just going to teach, and then we're going to talk and try to problem solve. I know it's refreshing that someone doesn't want to take money from you on the internet, but I'm here to build long-term relationships, and I don't let money get in the way of it. The reality is, if you like this content, if you feel it's going to help you grow as a wholesaler, get started, and you feel you can cut through the crap of all the gurus to tell you, then my goal is to teach you so you can go out and find deals, and we can partner up, and I will show you how to do that by the end of this video. So that's it, guys. Some of you who don't know me, my name is Rick Ginn. I'm the Rick and Flip with Rick. You're on my Rick Ginn channel. This is the channel of wisdom, of age. And a lot of you know my son, Zach Ginn. He has his own channel on Zach Ginn. It's an awesome channel, a younger crowd, and I'm okay with it. But the beauty of the relationship with me and my son is we work together. So we get the wisdom with it. I've been in this business a long time, and he pushes that young energy, the techno thing, and we just have a lot of fun with what we're doing. So some of you like what I have to say, and some of you like, I can kind of stick with Zach. That's why we segmented the channel. It's like different information. So I'm more of a just kind of like training you from the 30,000 foot level. And Zach, when we get together, me and him just get into like the grind of it. And then he goes into the deep mechanics, cold calling and stuff like that. And by the way, my son dares to do what no other guru will ever do, is live cold calls, not to realtors. Guys, calling realtors is not cold calling. I'm sorry. It's not cold calling. You've got to reach out to motivated sellers, and you got to hit them in massive amounts of quantity. So that being said, let's get into it and let's learn something. So you don't have to take any notes, but if you're like me, you like to write stuff because it sticks a little bit better. I'm going to push the microphone away a little bit and make sure I don't spill my coffee today. And I don't know why I forgot orange. I don't wear orange often. I figured, heck, I'd give it a shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this on the screen. And I just felt it's a little bit more interactive instead of just putting up slides. It kind of gets boring like that. So remember, we try to make wholesaling fun, because the way most people teach it, it's really, really boring in my opinion. So that's it, guys. So use the comments on there. And guys, make sure if you are new to this channel that you are subscribed, and make sure, please, if you like this information, smash that like button. It helps more people like you get in touch with the content. So let me see what I got here. So it's cool. I can see your comments live while we do it because I'm doing it on the screen. So let me share my screen and let me walk you through this. Let's see here. Oh, here it is. Okay. So basically what I've done is identified the phases of everything you're going to for wholesaling from 0 to 1 million. So 1, 2. So I believe, which one I'm going to write down for you? 1, 2. We're going to break down 6 different levels, or I might have done 5. I got to figure out which one I do. So the first one is going to be the one right up here. It's the honeymooner stage. And the honestly, a lot of you probably watching this, you're probably at this stage. You found wholesaling because you're probably sick of your job. You hate your boss and you're sick of struggling with bills and you need to find a way out. And you're looking for an opportunity where you don't have a lot of money. You can maximize your income, work from home, and truly get freedom of time. And I'm here to tell you, there is no better vehicle than wholesaling. Think about it. Instead of doing garage sales or flipping cars or doing like that, go find the biggest asset. What's the biggest asset out there? They're homes. You can make a small spread and make a killing. Now, a lot of you think of $1 million like it's a ton of money. It's not. I'm here to tell you, it's not, especially in today's dollars. So if you did an average of 15K a deal, which you won't start off doing, but eventually you'll do that in your sleep. You only need 67 deals done. 2 years. I tell everybody 2 years. It's easy, but it's not simple. So I want you to understand the first phase is the honeymooner phase. And I want to like spell this one out for you. Ready? This one's always my favorite. So let me put in my blue ink here. So in the honeymooner phase, you're basically in love with wholesaling. You think it's the greatest thing in the world. It's amazing. I don't know why I didn't find this sooner. This is the greatest thing in the world. And then you're going to do like that Netflix thing and you're going to start binge watching. Right? And then all of a sudden you're going to see like, I go, man, there's like 50 people saying they're just so easy. And there's this guy sitting in a lawn chair telling you can flip from the beach. I never have to leave. And there's Airbnbs and you get so excited. I remember when I first found wholesaling before YouTube, I was just like, I was blown away with like what you could do. And it was like a little secret when I first did it. And then you just kind of like, you're so ecstatic. And then you run into this guy, Rick Ginn, and you go, you know what? If he can do it, if he can, I can. And I know that's horrible English. And guys, trust me, I do not make money on English and spelling. I'm probably the worst guy to do it, but it's true. I'm no different than you. Here's the difference is I'm actually for real. This is what I do with my life. It's what I do for a living. And I'm not some influencer who's just trying to make money on the internet. And how do I authenticate that? I don't charge you guys. So you get excited. It's fun. And here's what you've got to understand at this phase. How much money are you making in the honeymooner phase? I can tell you straight up, as you guys know, 0. Period. 0. I love this phase. Everybody loves this phase. They're in love with wholesaling. It's going to set me free. I can quit my job. My husband's going to be so excited when I do this. And listen, you've all been there. Like, put it in the comments. Like, I was in like, but here's the problem. Some of you get stuck in the honeymoon phase. Like, you just keep watching and watching videos. This is not a Netflix show. And the problem is a lot of the videos online are purely for entertainment, because it is entertainment, because most of these people don't even do this stuff, or they did it at one point. And now that they're the master coach and they're going to show you how to do it. The reason they quit is because they can make more money coaching wholesaling than they can actually do flipping. And unfortunately, it's true. As long as you guys keep paying them, that is going to be a fact. So I'm trying to stop that. So let's move on to phase 2. It's the wholesale talkers. And honestly, this is where most people get flat stuck. You know what I'm thinking? It is human nature for people to talk. So people talk and then people do things. I'm in the camp of I only focus on what you do. I could care less what you can say what you want, but eventually you have to back it up. And honestly, that's what wholesaling always comes down to. So if we bounce around on the wholesale talker stage, here's what they all have in common. Now, there's good parts in this. They blindly attack FSBOs. I love that about them. That's not a bad thing. I love it because you have to be somewhat reckless and you got to call like 1,000 people because you don't know how to talk to them. So what better way than to learn with getting free leads and getting your teeth kicked in? But most people like, oh God, that was really tough. And then they're going to ask questions like, hey, Rick, how many, and that's where how many cold calls do I need to make? How many pieces of mail do I need to send out? How many letters do I have to send? How many doors do I have to knock in? You have the answer to it. I don't. You see, you're asking the wrong question. And this is how I know someone's in the wholesale talker stage. Most of the people just ramble, and go on. Now, here's another key. Their ego is still in control. Now, what did I tell you about your ego? If you cannot drop your ego in wholesaling, you won't make it. If you always want to be right, I guarantee you will not make it in wholesaling. It's just a fact of this business. Guys, I've been doing this 20 plus years. And I'm telling you, the sooner you can lose your ego, amazing things can happen in your life. And not just wholesaling, all facets of your life. But I will tell you, you give me a wholesaler with a big ego, I guarantee he's broke, he or she. I'm not saying just guys, there's plenty of girls that do it too. So the ego is still in control. They seek advice from anyone. And here's the difference is they're not seeking advice. They're seeking permission. And if you are seeking advice or permission from people that have never walked the walk, you're a dead man walking. So unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way. That's how I do it. Unfortunately, sometimes is I do not take advice from people that I do not want to strive to be in their shoes. And I don't take their word for it on the internet. And I just don't assume what they say is true. I check stuff out. Why? Because people talk. People talk a lot more. And that's what we're talking about, the whole wholesaler talking stage. Talk. Little sacrifice is made, meaning at this stage, they don't understand how big of a sacrifice it will take to be successful in wholesaling. They think they can run, make a couple quick $100,000 and look like a superstar in front of their family and friends. That's not reality. And that's what's going to lead to a lot of your problems. And it just drives me nuts. And then, this is where we come into. So a lot of people are broke. So they're looking for free training at this point. And I love free training. I love anyone who will help out. And there's a lot of good training out there. Not nearly as good as what me and Zach have for wholesaling. But here's the reality. The word free in the sales funnel business of information is used as a weapon against you. And me and Zach are doing the exact opposite of what is going on in the industry. Why? Because it's going to change. You guys are going to wise up and stop paying these stupid wholesaling coaching fees because you don't need to. It's ridiculous. The information's all at your fingertips. You just need a trusted source to get it from. Hello? So when you seek free training, you get some info, but you usually wind up in what we call a dead end. Why? Hey, Rick, I'm glad you loved our cold call scripts. If you want to go to the next phase and figure out how to do it, you need to call us. And I call And the next thing I know, it's like 8, 9 grand to move on with their program. And I've just wasted all my time because they held out the best information from me. And now I'm nothing more than a market and a sales funnel. And I don't know about you guys, but if you think that's a way to do business going forward in 2023, you've got to be kidding me. This is the tactic you all are being brainwashed on. And I'm here to tell you, it happens in every industry. It is the worst in the wholesaling business. So at this point, you have a decision. You can either give up, which a lot of people do at this point. They're like, it's like crazy. Or let's go back. Going back to our chart here. So at this point, a wholesale talker might make between 10 and 50K if they're lucky. Why? Because they might call one of those FSBOs and get a deal, which is great. I'm all for it. But it's usually like a 1 or 2 hit wonder, and they're never going to get consistency doing it. And that's the problem. Now, remember what I said. You're looking for free information because you're trying to figure this out. You are looking for clarity in what you're doing. And it is natural to find someone that has walked the path to get clarity from them. The question is, are you going to get the truth, or are you going to get some sort of sales pitch? And you have to make that decision. How do you make that decision? It's going to lead us to our next phase. You ready? You're going to look for the guru cure. And this is the biggest trap in wholesaling real estate, in my opinion. It's because you're frustrated, you're tired, you're hitting dead ends with free information. Sorry about the scroll, guys. And now, Guru is going to make some crazy offer. No way to back it up. And number 2, you don't know what questions to ask. So if you go to a pep rally at like a flipping house seminar, this is great. I stay on the beach. Checks just roll in. It's passive. It's perfect. Guys, sign up in the back now. I'll do a 2-for-1. It's $5 grand if you act right now. I can only take the first 20 people. Guys, seats are limited. You get so tired of this crap. Like I've seen it hundreds of times, and it just gets taxing. It's wearing. And the problem is you're all excited. Oh my God, I just got it done. Now, you paid a big price tag. It doesn't matter if you paid $1,000 or $10,000. It's a random number. And the cost of coaching, coaching, mentoring for wholesaling has gone down over the last 20 years. And you know everything else has gone up in price. So it's like, what the heck's going on here? So you fell for it. It's like you came up with this and you think all your problems are solved. Solved, right? I just paid this guy 8-10 grand. He or she's going to take me to the promised land. And then guess what? You get all excited. You get on the Zoom. There's 80 other people on the Zoom and you only got a 45-minute window, but you're getting one-on-one, baby. You didn't ask. What does one-on-one mean? Is the person that pitched me the course teaching it? Is it one of his better students, his or her better students? And all of a sudden, all these questions are coming across your head. And now you feel like, oh my God, what did I do? And then they tell you, hey, you're going to have to do this, 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 and this. And it's not going to be super easy. And then my favorite part is they tell you, you have to have what you call a marketing budget or you're going to fail. Now, a lot of you got into it saying, if you don't get skin in the game and you don't know how to do this, you're never going to figure it out. I've already proven that wrong thousands and thousands of times over. So you guys pay, you expect the guru to do the work. They're not going to do the work for you. And you know what? If their program's bad, no matter how much good work you do, you're probably not going to make it either. And lo and behold, this is not my number. These are gurus. Other gurus within the last year have gone on the internet and said this. It has a 90 to 95% failure rate. And here's the part that should piss you off. they're blaming you guys for the failure rate. It's not. It's an unrealistic marketing message. Wholesaling is not for everyone. I'm sorry. It's just not. Some people just are not cut out for it. And you want to find that out sooner than later. So if that's the case, now you're really like, now you're getting like borderline depressed. Like, okay, I was looking for clarity. I came across this gurus. I evaluated 3 of them. I thought it was the best person. I didn't ask good quality questions. I played a huge price tag. And here I am 3-4 months. I'm not even close to getting a deal. And now they're blocking me, or like they're not letting me in. It's just a waste of time. And a lot of these people have evergreen and lifetime. It's a bunch of crap, guys, because they sell all these companies based on revenue. So this, my friend, is where the magic happens in wholesaling. If you can find a way to skip through this minefield of gurus and get to the fun stage. And this is where most of you wind up if you apply what you learned from me and Zach at Free Wholesaling. You wind up being a wholesale warrior. That means, man, you got like special skills. A lot of you have already gone through the guru and go, listen, I don't have a choice. Now I have to make it work because now I'm already 10K in the hole. And I'm going to listen to what Zach and Rick does. And not only they're going to teach me how to do it for free, they're going to show me how to do it on a limited to no budget. Nobody else will do this for you. They're all tricks. Everyone manipulates the free game. Let me get them in. Let me suck them in. Guys, stop sucking in for this crap. Free has a limitation to a point. All I'm trying to do is teach you to get you your first deal and get you to your first 100K. That's it. I don't think it's hard. You know what the reality is? Most people won't take the steps to do it. So why should I charge every one of you 5 and 10K to do it? It's a joke. Why don't I just find the 5 to 10% of the people want to knock out of the park and find a way to do business with them for life? That's what me and Zach are on a journey for. So we jumped to Wholesale Warrior. And this, my friends, is probably one of my favorite stages. It'll make you fall in love with wholesaling all over again. And here's how it works, okay? I'll spell it. I'm a slow speller, guys. Wholesale Warriors. And if you have questions among the stages, go ahead and put them in the comments. I have no problem answering it as I go because I'm going to jump in with you guys on the live. So on the Wholesale Warrior, this type of person, I'm telling you right now, they have now converted willpower to discipline, meaning they do stuff regardless of what the outlying conditions are. So if they committed to make 300 cold calls today on whatever day it is, say it's Thursday, they make them. They don't care if they got a sniffle. They don't care if the dog needs to go to the vet. They just don't. They just get it done. I call them to the GSDs. And you know what that stands for? It's getting done. This is what people do. Because here's what they've done. Stopped making excuses. And then they just execute. The number one problem I have with most people, I help on the live, and I love you guys all to death. I'll help you out. But like you go on a live, and if you got 5 minutes to talk to me or Zach, and you spend 3 minutes complaining, you don't get the concept of how business works. You can complain all day long. Complaining is just an excuse. You have to look for solutions, and you go, okay, here's the problem I have. How can I pivot around? This is what I think I can do. Do you have any advice to move me forward? Okay. And you're looking for endorsements from people who have walked the path you have. You guys go on the internet and you put it like, what do you think about direct mail? And someone goes, oh, it's a waste of money. Give me a break. Guys, you cannot take advice like that. It will kill you in this business. So the best thing I find out is they stop making excuses and they really become what I call marketing ninjas, meaning they have mastered marketing. They understand it. They've mastered lists. They've spent hundreds of hours getting lists, and they understand they are still in the quantity game, and that quantity game is going to give them the experience edge. They also get rid of the shiny object syndrome. They understand, like a lot of people like, oh, AI, guys. You need to learn AI. You need to understand how it's going to relate to wholesaling in your regular life. But please don't change your entire business based on AI right now. You're still going to need that human connection on it. And there's so many people, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Guys, everyone's a rookie in AI. And if you sign up for something now, it's going to be completely different by the end of the year. So get rid of the shiny object syndrome. You get the discipline. So let's go back to this. This is where, honestly, if you can get to this point and you just stayed here, you would do great. So most people in this are 500K net earners. Notice I said the word net. I don't give a crap what people's total sales are. It's what you take home to your family. A lot of people, I did $2 million in gross profit. Okay, well, how much did you keep? That's all I care about. So think about this. If you could make 600K as an individual operator, and really at this point, you're still doing most of the stuff yourself. You have maybe a VA or two, and you might have a partner or you're considering a partner. Make sure that partner helped you got where you are. Don't bring them in after the fact, because that's a deal. And on average, you are probably doing 3 to 5 deals a month. Guys, it is a sweet spot to be in. Now, here's the problem. I got stuck in this spot for 7 years. Like, no kid you. I got stuck here. Why? Because I was making a 75 to 100 grand in my corporate job, and I was a full W-2 wage earner. And then I got to this. It was like mind blowing. It was like, oh my God, I got so much money. It led to a lot of other problems. I had to figure out how to keep it. I had to figure out how to manage it and do all that stuff. And when you do it all yourself, it's a bit of a challenge. So now we move on. And by the way, some people are happy being wholesale. Some people are really happy at this level. There's nothing wrong with being at this level. I love it. And if you love it, then stay there. I don't care. There's one more level after there. That's the $1 million wholesaler. Okay. And let's go over what a $1 million wholesaler does. It's going to do everything the wholesale warrior does, which is this right here. And here's the distinct difference on it. You ready? $1 million wholesaler. They no longer meet with sellers and buyers unless needed. You're going to have to learn how to lead people. And I got to be honest with you, this is probably the most challenging part, because you got to hire and fire people. And if you're a nice guy like me, it's difficult. I have people who do this for me because I'm intense. And that's a bit of it. Like, a lot of people can't handle the intensity when we do it. So they definitely have acquisitions managers. They could just have one. It's not the end of the world. They have a dispo person or team. And I'm going to be honest with you. They typically run small, lean teams. And for the most part, they're virtual. I know what you guys are saying. Listen, I get it. An office can be easier for some people. I never want to be confined to an office. I did it for 4 years. I hated every minute of it. You can easily do $1 million without an office. Why do you need the overhead? And it's not even the money. It's you have to babysit people, and you can never move your operations because you got to move it. And the hardest part you're going to do is the leading. And then you've got to find quality people to help, because you can go on Indeed and hire whoever you want. All they want is the paycheck. Ask me how I know. It's a real challenge on this. Now, here's the cool part. At this level, which is what I do, okay, I run a team . 4.5 employees. And that half employee is the VA team. It's 2, but they're put in there. So it's me, Zach, 2 other people's acquisitions, dispositions. That's it. So here's the profit center. So you can go from 1 million to 1.8 million net. Guys, stop falling for people's, I did $4 million in wholesale. Okay, trust me. If you have an office and crap like that, you've got expenses. I'm telling you, my sweet spot for wholesaling, this is my opinion. Okay. And it might not ring with you, might resonate with you. I've been through this in 20 years. And you've got to understand, to go from here to there, this is the sweet points right here. This is the garbage phase. And this is the crap you got to get through to get to that. And that's the challenge. And we lose most of the people right here at the guru phase. They just jump ship. And you see why. When you see it in a graphical representation, you understand the crap people have to go through. And by the way, that guru thing is, it's most of the people just trying to strip you of your money because you're so vulnerable. You don't know how to ask quality questions. You don't know who actually does this for real. And you think they're going to cure all your blues. And I know you're going to seek clarity. That's why they're there to take advantage of you. And I watch them come and go, guys. 20 years. I could count thousands of gurus who've been in this business. There's less than probably 20 that have ever stuck around. And I do give those people credit. But remember, their main focus is their business. It's not wholesaling at all. Now, I will tell you this. If you get to that top floor, you're going to get teased with an additional level. I call it the kind of the unicorn phase. They're going to tell you can do 10 to 20 million. Gross. And guys, I'm here to tell you, I've been doing this a long time. On my hand, I can count on one hand, my left hand is the only people I can count that done $10 million or higher. And that's not even net, dude. And like, everybody talks, but like, if somebody wants to argue it, give me a tax return, because you can say whatever you want. You can give me whatever sheet you want. The reality is, I've seen some 10 to 12. I saw 114, but the staff was so big. And keep in mind, they have an office, they have major overhead, they got employees, they're going to work 5-6 days a week. They're so overwhelmed. They have to go back to taking vacations, getting downtime, getting me time. It sounds like a corporate job to me. And they're on the hook for everything. And if there's one condition like a pandemic or anything like that, it is a catastrophe. So I'm not a big fan of it. I tried it, and I'm just telling you, it's like a unicorn chasing this perfect elite stage where you're going to do 20 million. Think about this. If it was so productive, why wouldn't billion-dollar corporations just take over the wholesaling industry? Why? It's very localized, and it's, in my opinion, it's very hard to scale nationally. Look at Open Door. They had to deploy over $1 billion. Still, they are losing money. So most of us don't have a $500 million war chest to back it up, pay all these people. And the reality is, if you want to deploy $500 million in capital, there's a heck of a lot of easier ways to do it with single family houses. You can't buy enough to make the numbers work, and they're all spread out. Why not just buy a big warehouse or a big commercial building or a highly productive business? Single family houses on a wide scale for a huge $100 million business, it's just nobody's yet cracked the code. And I've been doing this 21 years. No one showed me it yet. Now, people will tell you 10 to 20 million. How much do you want to drive yourself crazy? Honestly, if you want to do the 10 to 20 million, you're better off opening a brokerage and getting a couple hundred agents. I wouldn't do it, but I've tried it. It's hard. And I give credit. I'm sure there's people who can do it, but like, why sit there and train for less than the 1% of people who do it? You will have to give up so much to exceed that 10 to $20 million mark. I don't know if it's worth it. I got into wholesaling for freedom of my time and financial freedom. If you're chasing an unlimited revenue stream, there are actually better businesses, in my opinion, but there's no better business to gain wealth with no money and very minimal risk. Wholesaling is the big thing, but it does have some sort of limitation to it. I'm going to do 100. Someone said the other day they're going to do 100 million. I'm like, I would put all the money in the world that they can't. It doesn't. You're better off just buying a commercial building, like a big giant apartment complex, $230 million. So, so guys, this is it. Let me remove this off of here. These are the journeys. So if what I'd like to do, if you guys want to let me know, even in the comment section, like what section of wholesaling you're on, and the more honest you are where you are right now, then you can figure out your journey to get there. Because if you don't know where you are, then you're like, oh crap. Because a lot of you guys, if you had this chart up front, I'm sorry for drawing all over it, but that honeymooners, and then you get to the wholesale talkers, like, man, a lot of people talk. I'm like, God, there's so much chatter on the internet. And then all of a sudden you just get pounded with every guru ad in the world. And every one of them do the same thing. You promise the world, and if you don't do my course, you'll never figure this out. And then you don't know the questions and you get stuck. And this is where we lose most of the people in wholesaling. So we're here to make a change. If you want to figure out how to do this, do me a favor, just go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach have a free course there for you. Not only will it teach you to get you your first deal, teach you how to get you your first 100K. And our goal is to get you through these land mines of gurus and show you the work. Because no matter what, because I don't charge you, I don't go with that. Well, they didn't put skin in the game. The reality is you're going to have to do the work no matter what. If you do it for free or hire someone. So if you understand you've got to get the work, then just skip the crap in between. Because a lot of you pay 10 grand and go, man, if I just kept that 10 grand, I could have used it towards marketing or like working on myself. But a guru told you if you didn't invest in yourself, you're never going to make it. Guys, me and Zach have over 3,000 testimonials. I've never asked for a testimonial. They just come organically and naturally. Why? Because everybody's sick of the same crap that's going on. So I want to prevent it. So let me know what stage you are on it. You got 1, 2, 3. You got 5 stages here. And most of you aren't at top stage 5. Most of you are between honeymooner and wholesale talkers. And some of you have gotten through the guru minefield. Some of you have been scarred terribly. And I apologize if somebody hurt you. And they're going to blame you that you didn't take an action. But how can you take action on really bad information? Just drives me freaking nuts. So that's it, guys. So let's jump in, and I marked some questions here. So I put the StreamYard link on there, and let's see what else we got here. So jump over to freewholesaling.com if you want to check that out. Tim, you there?
Hey, Rick, how you doing?
Good, man. Let me turn you up there. I can hear you.
Oh, sorry. I'm in the car right now.
That's all right, man. Listen, eyes on the road. If you look at me, I'm going to yell at you, man. Because I don't need to be responsible for an accident.
My condolences for the Dolphins.
Nah, dude, you got to understand, dude. I've been taking this my whole life. So actually, I look at it like we made the playoffs. So like it's somewhat of a little bit of a celebration. I got to be honest with you. I am a little bit excited because I think the Bills are going backwards now.
Yeah.
And I think Miami's going to make a huge move on a quarterback. I think they know Tua's the guy's a little fragile, an incredible athlete, but he's just too fragile. There you go, buddy. Listen, you get Lamar and Tyreek on the same team, everyone's going to be a Dolphins fan. And I like the coach, so it's like, and the reality is we would have been destroyed by the Bengals, so it didn't matter. That was a beatdown. That was a beatdown. But the Dolphins took the Bills to the limit. I knew the Bills were going to have problems with the I just didn't think it was going to be that bad. But
in the snow too.
Yeah, at least I'm not a Cowboys fan because it's just it's painful, man. It's like, and you know what? You knew it was going to be a tough game, but that one turnover killed their game. So they turned it over in the red zone, man. That was it. That was the difference of who won the game. It was a good game, though. But look at the 49ers. They got like a backup quarterback comes in. It's like he's amazing. So maybe we get Garoppolo at Miami. Like, I don't know, man. But like, I think Miami's just missing a few offensive linemen and figure out the running back and the quarterback. But woo, I don't know. I love it, dude. Like, but I'm a loyalist though. So when it comes to like teams, like I love the history of the Dolphins and all that. And I love all sports, but it's I got a passion for football. I just love watching. I love watching big men grind it out like that. So what's going on, man? I get in trouble for talking too much football.
Right. Yeah. I have ADHD like you, so sorry,
There
I
you
got
go,
you on
man.
track.
So you're perfect for it. So
So
what stage are you in wholesaling?
I'm definitely a honeymooner. I don't know if I spoke to you. Remember, I spoke to you earlier. I'm the one with 3 kids. I'm you 30 years ago or 20
There
years
you go.
ago.
There you go, man. Okay.
So I was able to go to the courthouse in my county and pull all the probates. I reverse engineered the site, and I've been pulling probably 10. I mean, I've sent 100 probate letters out just for January alone. So my question is, because I know I'm gonna get that phone call eventually, what does that conversation look like? The last thing I want to do is have a lead on the line and lose credibility.
So probates are a little bit of a different animal. So there's not a ton of leads. They're not thousands, and 100 is actually very respectable. Like I can't get
Yeah,
more than
it's a lot.
40 or 50 in my counties. And when you get the call, you've got to be extremely patient, and you've got to
Okay.
be the best listener you've ever been in your life. So, you how many kids you got again? 3?
I have 3. Yeah, 3 boys.
3 boys. So this isn't a good example. So if you had 3 girls, and say you had a wife with that, and they sat you down and they wanted to like present you on something, you're not getting a word in edgewise, right?
Well, I can
So
say
this
that
is
too
how.
with the
So
boys.
listen, when my wife and my daughter say, "Listen, we need to talk to you," like I have to listen, like hyper focus, because I know I'm not getting a word. And number 2 is they're they're just more advanced in like conversation and communication. So in
Yep.
probates, communication is the most important skill set you can have when it comes to it, because they're going to make the first impression on the phone. They're expecting you to be some sort of sharky scumbag when they call, and they're looking to write you off right in the first 30 seconds. So you have to do the opposite. So you just
Okay.
kill them with kindness, and you let them lead the conversation, and you eventually try to bring it back to the house and their current situation. Some of them will tell you right out, "Hey, listen, my mom died. It sucks. It's bad." You can't go like, "Oh my God, I'm so," like you say, "Listen, my condolences. I know it's hard." Like, don't overdo it, because you don't know them. It's fake. It's not going to be authentic.
Okay.
And
That makes
and
sense.
let them talk till they wear out. They'll probably ask you some questions about you, and you just got to kind of put them at ease. So you just got to have a conversation with them, because the biggest mistake people make in probates, they try to qualify it like a regular cold call on like a FISBO, and they try to find
Okay.
their motivation off the bat. You already know what their motivation would be, so you don't really have to ask. You just got to see if the house is motivated and if their motivation level is high enough to engage in a deal with you. And so
Okay.
I have long conversations with probates. Why? Because I don't get a lot of calls. On average, we get 3 to 4 calls a month in probates, and we send out a lot more letters than you do. So when I get
You
that
send out a lot
call,
more.
a lot more. So when I get that call, or my team gets the call, we know it's gold. It's valuable, and if I can find a way to connect with them, and if they're slightly motivated, we'll probably put a deal together. And that's the secret. It's not your typical, "Hey, what's your motivation? What's the condition? What's your time frame? What's the price? How soon are you looking to ready to move?" Just talk. Sometimes the conversations go for an hour. You have to. You don't get enough calls. So you don't have to be cutting people off. Let them talk. 80-20 rule. You do 80% of listening, 20. And towards the end of that phone call, that's when you start to get a little bit of feel if you can move on to the next phone call. How? You got to create intrigue, and they've got to like you. And if you can't do either one of those things, you have no shot on the probate call. That's it. So I never discuss price on the first phone call. Just take the edge off you. You take it off your seller, and you just find out. Because if that house is vacant, it's run down, and they live out of state, even if you get a
Uh-huh.
slight discount, you'll do very well.
Okay.
So don't
Yeah, I've
attack
noticed.
price.
Okay.
And understand it's going to take 5 to 6 phone calls to get down to the nitty gritty with them. So you earn their
Okay.
trust. So the first time is you just like, "Please don't hang up on me," right? And you go, "Listen,
Yeah.
I'm a regular guy. I buy houses in the area. I drove by the house. I saw it. That's why I sent you the letter." And just start letting them talk. And you'll find the more they talk, they'll just qualify themselves. And it's more of a natural conversation. And that's all I do with probates. You got to have, it's got to be very natural. Listen, when you're cold calling and you're doing FISBOs and stuff it's a different conversation. Like you got to get to the point. Probate's complete opposite. You just want to make them feel good, because the truth of the matter is the more you can get a person talking, the more they're going to open up to you and the more they're going to put their guard down for you. And they just want to make sure you're not taking advantage of them and like you're trustworthy. So get through that initial one and just have a long conversation with them. It's not uncommon to have 30, 40-minute conversations with them. If you only got 1 or 2 phone calls, why would you rush to get them off the phone? And that's why I tell people, you still got to make so I want to make progress on every phone call, and that's how I do probate. So instead of taking it down in one quick FISBO qualifying call, it might take 5 or 6 connections. The first time they're calling you, you've got to just get them not to hang up with you and see if we can like dance a little bit. And once you crack a joke or get them to smile, and then once they give you their phone number, now you have permission to call them back. Now it's a wide open dialogue and you can make progress in your negotiations with them. But just do not run them over in the probate process and you'll do so much better. And eliminate price in the first call. Because if they go, hey, you know, Tim, how much could you pay me for it? Go, you know what? I don't know. I want to do the best thing I can for you. Can you tell me a little bit about the house? And I'll just go, so now I'm going to walk away from price, which they think that's all you're going to attack them on. And just always go from a helping hand with them. So if you've ever had a death in the family, that's how I look at them. I'm like, listen, I'm going to treat them just like I would treat my own family if this were to happen. Like, what can I do to make this painless for you? How can I help you out? What's your biggest fear with it? What do you not understand in this process? And then if you don't know the answer, go, listen, I have somebody on my team. Can I call you back tomorrow? I will get you an exact answer for that. And that's it. And once I knew I didn't know everything about probate, I was much more comfortable, because in the beginning, I wanted to be a perfectionist. I wanted to get everything right. And that cost me a lot of time and money. So you're not a lawyer. You don't need to be. You just need to find a way to make connections with people. So that's the only difference in probate. You just don't run as fast and you let them do a whole lot more talking than you do. And if you can put that together and progress with every phone call, by the 5th or 6th phone call, you should be getting to a price and a contract. That's it.
Okay. Now, let's say we do get the contract. The process would have to be approved by the judge, correct?
Who's telling you that?
Oh, no, nobody's telling me. I'm just assuming they would have to sign off.
So back up. Tell me the 2 words you just said to me.
Approved?
No, you said, I'm assuming. You can't do that in wholesaling. Okay. You just, guys, your assumptions of what people think they know on the internet, some crazy video like, hey, give me 10 grand and I'll show you how to do this. You're assuming they know everything. They don't. So a lot of people have this crazy notion that all probates, now they have to be signed off by a judge.
That's what I meant.
Do you understand what the court's role is on a probate? What their ultimate role is?
To make sure that the assets are divvied up equally
and they want to make sure they go to the correct authorized people. That's it. Exactly. The amount of assets, it's not up to the judge. The judge has no bearing on value. Unless it's some crazy probate deal and it's court ordered by some sort, maybe there was some sort of crime or something committed. It would have to be crazy. But the only time I've ever been questioned by a judge was a house we were buying super cheap because the whole house was beyond trashed. And all he ever asked me for, he goes, can you give me a detailed contractors to make sure this is for real? It was low. It was like 30 grand. And I gave it to him. He's like, once he saw the first 2 pictures, he's like, that's fine. He just wants to make sure the executor, the PR agrees to it. And that's the right person. And then the buyer is the right person and they're going to pay for it. That's it. That's the only. So many people like, oh, we got to get an appraisal. We got to get a BPI. It's all like fear mongering. It's BS. Selling a property is a free market, is up to the free market. If a seller wants to sell and a buyer wants to pay, they set the price, they agree it, you take it to the probate court and they just confirm, do we have a legitimate offer? Do we have legitimate buyers? When's this going down? And that's all it is. So very, very rarely, unless there's a huge conflict. Now, the only time this does come up, if there's like 25 heirs and there's no will, you don't really have a choice other than get like an appraisal or something because everybody cries about the value on it. So that's it. Like, stop making the assumptions. So to avoid the assumptions, whatever state you're doing it to, go to the state website and look up the probate court, and they will tell you the exact process and how it works. And once you study that, then talk to your title company and verify it with them. And then if you have access to a real estate attorney, that would be your third stop on it. So, guys, I'm not a lawyer. I know very little. I understand legal. I just don't understand the mechanics, and that's what you pay a lawyer for. And honestly, I don't trust most lawyers. They've taken so much money from me. It's like, and half the time they're wrong, and 50% of the time, they're proven in court wrong. So it just comes down like they're like a guide. So if I'm the guide of wholesaling, they're the guide of legal. But here's the deal: is I don't charge you $400 or $500 an hour to figure out how to do this. So it's kind of funny. And, it's so funny with lawyers. They're like, oh, it's $450 an hour. I'm like, well, get it done in an hour and a half. Like, I don't give a crap. That's the crazy part, is you can't monitor how many hours they work. And that's where to me, it gets a little scammy with lawyers. It's $450 an hour. I go, well, how many hours is it going to take? I don't know, 5 or 10. Which is it? Is it 5 or 10? And every lawyer I work with, I'm like, give me a flat fee because I'm not playing this game. Like, unless you have a pending court deal. So, so it makes sense with probates. You just got to go slower, and you got to make them feel comfortable, because probate's it's tough on people, man. It was tough on my family. It's tough on, like, it's always tough. And you hear some like weird stuff. You're not there to judge. You're just there to buy the property, right?
Exactly.
Well, so many times they go, can you believe what my sister did? I'm like, ugh, God. Like, I could write a book on probate.
They give you all the drama.
What's that?
That they give you all the drama, the family drama.
Oh, listen, they tell me who starved people, who like, it's crazy. Wow. And so if you have a family, you understand the drama goes on and it's real. But remember, we're here just to solve problems. I've had a couple times I almost walked away probate because it was some really like squirrely stuff. And I had to remind myself, I'm just here to solve this problem. I cannot solve the family dynamics problem. And so many times I tell you guys, part of being a wholesaler is it's like a lot of times we're welfare workers, we're psychologists, sometimes we're referees in fights. It's like crazy. And I always tell probates, like, I've had some really testy probates where people are really fighting. And I just said, listen, you guys have to make the decision what you want to do with it. When you want to sell it, call me. And so many times I tried to referee for the first 2 years. I never got anywhere. Like, you cannot make a family make a decision. The history is too long and it's too deep. And if you guys have a family, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So be aware of it and understand there's only so much you can do. But I love probate. So I think everyone should do it. So just go slow and let them talk 80% of the time, and you should be in good shape.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
Okay, man. I'll see you, man. Okay. Jalen, you there?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, man. What's going on?
Everything's going good. How are you?
I'm awesome, man. How are you?
I'm going pretty good. All right, so listen, I want to make this a little bit quick because I know a lot of people want to get on. I'm working on this deal, right? He sent me the video. He sent me just the video walkthrough. And only a picture of the front, but the video walkthrough is pretty good.
Who's
I wanted to know, the seller.
Okay, well, that's a great skill you guys do when you have your sellers do that. Like, I never did that when I first did my virtual. Like, I learned from you guys. I go, holy crap, you get the seller to do it. That's pretty amazing. Because a lot of times, like, we struggle just to get them to sign the contract.
Yeah, but when he sent me the video walkthrough, the downstairs ceiling is falling through. I just wanted to ask, does that mean it's a tear down if the ceiling is falling through downstairs?
So is it a 2-story?
Yes, it's 2 floors. Yes.
What state are you in?
I'm in Pennsylvania.
So remember, all real estate's localized. So I can pretty much tell you anywhere in the South. So I'm not going to be a good source in Pennsylvania. What I would do is try to find, when you say it's falling down, is it just hanging down? Is it stained? Like, you got to give me more details.
Okay. It's like yes, this is like fell completely through, but it's downstairs. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Now I've fallen through from an attic when I was a teenager, but um, here's what I just ask him, like, what the hell's going on? What's he say?
He did say the property been sitting for 5 years, but it was a super low price on it. But I was going to lowball him more off the super low
Well,
price.
you're just gonna have to get it as low as you can and get in there with like a GC to help you like take a look at it. The
Uh-huh.
reality is, like in Florida, if you leave a property for a year with the AC off, the drywall goes to crap. It starts to like get moldy. It'll start to bend.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times, remember that drywall is just screwed into 2x4s above it. And so if it gets watery and moldy, or if there's moisture or humidity in there, it can wear on that drywall over time. The other thing is it could be possibly a leak from somewhere. If water drips through, then it gets even worse. But guys, whenever you leave a house like for a long time, except for like the really old houses, like when they built them back in the early 1900s, they didn't really use drywall back then. And
Right.
drywall, it's an interesting product how they make it. It can't deal with moisture at all. So I'm assuming it's going to be a moisture thing. The third one is someone could just done a really bad job and put it up. I've seen that before too. Now here's the good news. Drywall's cheap. Drywall's easy. It's not overly expensive to do it. So you can figure it out. You got to find out what caused the damage to the drywall. If it's just him from shutting off the air or not having the heat on, that could be possible. So you want to make sure it's not a leak. So I would go straight to the roof. How old's the roof?
He said he said the property been sitting for at least 5 years, so he don't even know the number on the roof.
That's a long time. Dude, just get a super low price and see what
He
you can do with
already
it.
said super low, but I was going to lowball him lower than that. But I just want to know, would you still be able to like wholesale this property
You do,
if
but
it's
you're going to
really,
have to
really
get
bad?
somebody there with a construction background to kind of like tell you what the hell's going on. So this is one of those deals. If you're doing this virtually or locally,
I'm doing virtual.
and sometimes like I don't like the things. Like, what price point you at?
Right now, he said 25,000.
Which market is this in?
Philadelphia. So I was going to say, because y'all say give the gut wrenching offer, I was going to say 13.5.
There you go. Give them 10. Like, go lower. Like, you got nothing but to go up, and the property's a piece of junk. I will give you this. If you want,
Right.
I do have a disposition partner in Philly.
Right.
He knows that market very well, and he could probably assist you. Is it vacant? Can you get access to the property?
Yes, it's vacant. Yes, it's vacant.
So
You
if
can
you will send that lead to support at Flip with Rick on email and put you're Jalen, right?
Yeah, hold up 1 second. Can you give me the email again?
It's support at Flip with Rick. I'm gonna have a better way for you guys to do this at the end of this week. So come back Thursday, but I'm trying to like help you out now. Support at Flip with Rick.
Support at Flip with Rick.
Yeah, and then put in the title your first name, Jalen, in all caps.
Okay, my full name.
Your name.
Okay.
And then give me the address and then any pertinent information with it. And you don't have it under contract yet, do you?
No, I told him I was going to give him a call back Wednesday.
Yeah, I would just get the best price possible and the longest inspection period you want. You can. And then if you want to just send me like the numbers or like any whatever video link you have, if you can send it like a Google Drive, I'll try to help you out the best I can. I do have someone in Philly that I've spent a lot of time in. We're old friends and we do a lot of business. We do a lot of JVs together. So if you're interested and you want to work with us, we split it 50-50.
Yeah, that actually sounds great because I was looking at the comps in the area. Like the ARV is low. I'm not gonna lie. ARV is really low. It's like 160, 150 ARV, 170. It's really, really low. And that's
just get it as like that property 5 years vacant. These are the ones you have to stick with a super low price.
Right.
And there's no guarantee it's even going to work out. So the only thing you can do is get it at the best price possible and see if you can make it work. That's it. That's all you can do, especially virtual. Like, this isn't called like throwing mud against the wall. You're like, he's not going to give it to you for free, right?
Right.
But then like if you pick it up 5 or 10 grand, you could probably find someone to make it work, but it's going to need a crap load of work. What that number is, I don't know. We're going to need some people to help us out, but he's got to be motivated. So what number, what's the last number he left you with? 25?
Yes, because his mom, I was talking to his mom, and his mom said we not taking nothing less than 30 to 25. And then I was talking to him for a little bit, the owner of it. He was like, yeah, I just really want 25. He was telling, like, he really sounded like he just wanted out of it. They were both saying it's just a big headache for them. Understand? It's just a big headache. They not doing nothing with it.
So Jalen, have you done a wholesale deal yet?
No.
Okay. So what you need to do is focus on what they want for an end result. So why has that property been vacant for 5 years? You might want to dig in that story. And then number 2 is, why haven't they solved the problem? Like, you just went through one of the hottest real estate markets ever. Why didn't they sell it then?
Okay.
And they've kind of missed it. And here's the reality. You just need to leverage them on their current market conditions. Market prices are going backwards. Interest rates raising. We're easily going into a recession. Now's the time to sell it. Like, it's not going to get better if they wait another year. And then who's paying the property taxes on it? And here's what I always go, listen, they've probably had to, how many times do you think they've had this thing under contract?
Probably a lot, because he was telling me how, our code violation is called LI. So LI violations on it. And when he paid that off, he tried to like sell it before it wasn't working out. It was like, he was telling me a little bit of that.
So here's my line, Jalen. Like, listen, are you just tired of going through this seesaw? I can get it done, but we've tried all these other prices, and get as much background as you can. Ask them what the other contract prices were, and ask them why they pulled out. And a lot of the answers will be in the seller's hip pocket, and you can use that information. Well, a guy put it under contract for 30 and he couldn't get rid of it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not buying it for 30. I'm not going to buy it for 25. Like, we're getting to the point where you just got to kind of get rid of this thing. So let's make it work.
Okay, and can you help me? Like, so when I call Windsor, I'm on my notes right now. Can you give me like a few bullet points to touch on? Because I was just going to straight go to the
As
price.
I said, use find out what this 5-year history is, because there's something wrong. Most likely they're out of money. I'm not stupid. I know that's it. But like, dude, in the last 2 years, you could people are like going crazy buying property. So remember, it's a local market, so I don't know a lot about Philly type of deal. But if you send me the information, if you want, I'll have someone reach out to you and see if you guys can kind of put a deal together. And this is a person I trust and I've known for a long time. And so, guys, what we are is we're working with dispositions partners around the country, people I've done business with, I trust completely. And I make sure I train them on how we're going to do it. And they know my customers like you're just out there busting your butt trying to get your first deal done and just want to crack that code, get it done. And then once you have the confidence doing one, if you want to come back, do some others. But eventually I want you guys all to spread your wings. You don't need me forever. That would be a crutch. But if I could put 5 or 10K in your pocket and I prove the theory works for you, it's better than zero. So send me that email. Let me help you out. And put your contact information in there. And if you want, I would still call. I would make the phone call and do as much intel as you can. But 5 years, I think you're missing something. Like, maybe there's the reason a property can't sell. Because you think an investor by now would have. How many people have done driving for dollars on that? How did you pick it up? Code violation, right?
Yes. Yeah.
How bad are the code violations on it? What's the number up to?
Our city is like confidential with the exact number, but they'll tell you every type of violation it has on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I might get that information too, but honestly, don't spend a lot of energy. Just say, listen, just obviously what you've done up to this point, it hasn't worked. What can we do to get this problem solved? I can't pay you 25. I'm sorry. It sounds like someone's already tried that with you and it hasn't worked out. The market's going backwards. Interest rates are going up. Inflation's out of control. I want to get this done, but we have to have a situation that works for both parties. If you're tired of doing this, let's find a way just to get this done. And just kind of like that, you just got to kind of beat them down nicely, if you know what I mean. But like, what did you say the ARV is on it?
It's like 160 to 150 to 175. I seen 3 comps, and that's just the fast ARV. You know how you say don't spend a lot of time on it?
No, you don't. Like, you can't. Man, yours is all over the board. I would put it under the best price, but I would find out what they had it under contract for last, because I promise you that price didn't work.
Okay.
So use that as your barometer. I'm like, okay, well, he paid 30, he couldn't even move it. And keep in mind, if he had someone for 2025, he would have asked for a price reduction. He probably would have got it. So find the number and just say, listen, are you tired of doing this? I'd find out how many times I had it under contract and go, listen, let's get this done. But like, I've got to like get in there and see what's going on. There's a lot of things going on here. Maybe their code violations are like 25. Like, I don't know. Maybe they got like a small mortgage on it. I have no idea. Make one more phone call and get as much intel and try to fish and go, listen, and do the good cop, bad cop. Go, listen, I don't think they're going to take 10 if he's stuck on 25, but I think 13 to 15 should work. But once again, but if it's worth 160, how many square feet under air on this thing? Roughly.
1,100, like 950 to 1,100.
I mean, like I'm no like, but if you got to put a roof on it, rip it down to the studs, everything, you're probably looking at like 75 to 80.
Right.
There's still a ton of money in this thing for somebody. Unless it's in a really bad area and it's very crime ridden and it's challenging, then I don't know. What's it rent for? If
On
it was
the rent, it's like 1,300, 1,400.
Dude, go make that intel call. Send me the email, and if you want, I'll help you dispo it and get this done. You're so close. Like, do not leave it. You are right on the edge. Like, you're on the 3-yard line. If you want to punch it in, you can punch it in, or you can just keep trying to do jet sweeps and whatever. You got to do something, man. You got to get one more intel call, and you're focusing on, listen, aren't you tired of dealing with this problem? Don't focus on the house, focus on their emotion. And when you focus on emotion, you can help people make decisions to help solve problems and create win-win situations. Go for that, and I think you'll be happy with the outcome.
Okay, and can you give me the email one more time so making sure I got it right? Can you just spell it out for me? Make sure I got it right.
Yeah, it's just support, SUPPORT at flipwithrick.com. That's it. And guys, by Thursday, I will have, we've been working months on this. We're going to have an entire button where you can push the markets, do everything. But I'm just trying to help out Jalen. He's got a problem right now, and that's why we do these masterminds. And I offer everyone, if we do it, but here's the really cool thing. You do a JV with me and Zach, we give you instant feedback. And I'm not going to I don't charge you $1,000 or $2 to submit stuff. You know, there's gurus that do that. It's a hidden coaching course. I'll tell you, it ain't going to work. You got to get a price reduction. And if you want help with a price reduction, I'll connect you with our team and we'll give it one shot. And that's it. And then you got to provide intel. And then when we get it under contract, you're still going to help with the photos and some of the stuff. And then we have a local partner that we work with. And when they have a problem, we all get involved. And there's very few real estate deals that we cannot solve if we all work together. So send that email and do one more phone call, and don't burn it, but just push it a little bit. But I'm telling you, they're tired. 5 years, man. Ooh,
yeah.
That's crazy. And the numbers you're telling me are fantastic. So unless I'm missing something, that's why we try to get local people, local markets to help you out instead of you guys trying to reach out and find a lot of these scam artists. Because one of the biggest complaints I see on the internet is he or she didn't pay me after I did the deal.
And
now,
actually, and one last thing. Actually, when I was looking, I actually been following up with him for a long time. But when I was looking at the recent homes that sold in the area that wasn't renovated, I seen one like the same size and everything. It was like a 40,000. It was like that one sold for 40,000 and it needed a lot of work to it. So if we get it to like 10 or 11 or 13.5, that could be a really good profit. I don't know.
It could, man. Just listen. You're in the people business. So many of you guys spend so much time trying to focus on the asset, the property, the house. And I'm here to tell you, the real money in wholesaling is dealing with people's problems. That's all you're doing.
Right.
The house, the property, that's just the math part of the equation. The part you're trying to solve is like, what's going to get them over the hump to do a deal with me? And how can I make them feel good about it? That's where you got to concentrate your skill sets on. So many guys, if you're going to spend an hour doing comps, you should consider becoming a realtor, because that's what realtors do. That's what they're paid to do. Wholesalers is completely opposite. I don't get to the comp part until I know they want to really do a deal with me. because I'm not, I did exactly what you guys did. I ran every comp in the world, and you get tired of it. So focus on motivation. If it's there, get close to it. When you get close, then you can run some more advanced comps and do it. But I'd rather you just do advanced comps on the 2 or 3 deals you're writing contracts on, as opposed to like the 50 that you're in talks, because it's a waste of time.
Right.
I used to run comps all the time. People wouldn't do deals with me, just like, and you'll figure it out real quick. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're at the thing is like, what's the least amount I can take? They'll take that'll make them feel good. That's it. It doesn't even matter what the comp is anymore, right?
Right.
Because we can get over that point. You got to finish this one. Do not leave this win on the 3-yard line, and stop running your jet sweeps, man. Like, you're just going to have to punch it in. You just got to go for it. Don't be scared. The worst you're going to do is say no. And you either, I guarantee this, Jalen, either you're going to get a deal out of this, or you're going to get a lesson. And they're both just as valuable. And if people would look at life like that, instead of like, well, if I don't take a risk, I'm not going to get an outcome and I can't get hurt. No, it's actually the opposite. By not making a decision, not doing it, you've already made a decision to go nowhere, which is going backwards. So send me that email, man. I'm going to eagerly wait for it.
And what do I put in the email? Just the address and everything? All the details?
Yeah, it's private. So nobody else, I don't want you to put in the chat there, but just put your name in caps on the title, because I get a lot of emails, and then my system will sort it out. And I promise you, I'll look at it personally.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. You have a nice day.
Man, you got it. Okay, man.
Thanks.
See ya. See, that's stuff I love to do there, man. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. CJ, you there?
Yes, I'm here. How's it going? Can you hear
How
me?
you doing? Yeah, I can hear you fine. What's going on?
Everything's good. Everything's good. First, I just want to say appreciate you giving out good info. You know, a lot of people try to use us, people like us, to sell us dreams and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of work to get to the dream. If people will do the work, you can actually hit it. But a lot of people sell you on how easy it is to get to it. And that's the biggest problem in our business right now.
Right.
So, what can I help you out with, man? What's going on?
I just had a quick question. I know you guys are Florida residents, and I'm from Florida too, from South Florida. And I'm brand new to wholesaling. Starting to get lists together and call people, but I haven't had a deal yet. And I just want to know what's it like wholesaling in Florida, in South Florida, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale in particular, because I hear a lot of mixed reviews on it.
It's not a cheap market to do it in. There's not a lot of low price point house. It's possible because I do it, but I've been doing this like 20 years. But I will tell you, a lot of people come with hopes and dreams and aspirations here doing it. It's like anything else. If you apply yourself and do it, Miami's probably the more challenging of the markets you just said. Fort Lauderdale's still doable. The only difference is they're just much higher price points. There's not $50,000 and $100,000 houses. I'll let you know a little secret. Don't be scared of condos and townhomes.
Okay.
Because they are the new price entry. And if you ever had a shot at mobile homes, which you don't have a lot in the southern part of Florida, but up where I'm at, like, we have a blast doing these, and there's not many left. But I would look at condos and townhomes, and a lot of people are scared to flip them. I'm telling you, people are gobbling them up. There's just very few affordable markets. And when you can find somebody that needs to sell one, it works. I love townhomes because when you get inside them, they have a feel of a full-size house. You just don't get the outside amenities with it.
Okay.
So, but Miami, you got a little bit of a language barrier there, so you got to have somebody that's somewhat bilingual. And Miami's just like, it's a different world, man. So I've done a lot of business, and I've spent a lot of time in Miami, and I have family down there. It's a different world down there, man. I don't know even how to describe it. It's so unique and different. And but Fort Lauderdale, and you work your way up north towards Palm Beach, I mean, you're fine. They're just bigger numbers.
All right. So
Listen, there's a lot of people doing it. I've never hid that from anyone. But all you got to do is go out and find people with distressed properties and then help them out as much as you can. And remember, in the beginning, you're not going to be good at it. You're actually going to suck at it. And that's okay. You just got to keep moving forward and get better at being sucky at it. That's it. I was terrible when my first deal was in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
I gave the house away. It was on the water in Las Olas, and I gave it away because I was so excited to do the deal. So I had no idea what I was doing. I just did it. I go, man, I've got to get that feeling again. And then here I am 20 plus years later. So you'll be fine. What part of South Florida are you in?
I'm in Miami. Well, actually, I'm in Hollywood,
Okay.
but I have like grandparents that stay in Fort Lauderdale. So I'm all over Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood.
Yeah. Dania Beach is good. Hollywood, Pembroke Pines. There's a lot of stuff.
Right.
The good thing is you have a huge population.
Mhm.
So when you get a deal, it's a lot easier to sell.
Yeah, I'm not having any problem like finding cash buyers. I already like contacted a few and whatnot, but
Yeah, you got it in the deal. We just I'll share the details with. I just did a JV with somebody in Plantation. Great. I mean, phenomenal deal. It's a kid's first deal. He just started picking up the phone, calling people. I put him on the
Okay.
spot. I go, you got to call people. And that's like, we do this over and over. And I did, we did Plantation, Pembroke Pines. Like, we do a lot of deals. So I love it. Like Florida, like we can do in-house. So if you need to partner up and you need help with it, but like, you guys don't have to use me and Zach. You can do this on your own. That's the difference. And I'm never going to require you guys to pay a course to do business with me. That's like strong arm, like mafia stuff. Like, oh, I can't talk to you unless you take my course. Really? You think you're that
Right.
special? Like, come on, man. So you'll be fine. You just got to get started and get going. And before you know it, you'll be knee deep in it.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's all I want to hear. I don't know why people make it seem it's like something in particular. I don't know what the laws or anything that make it so different. But if it's just a higher price point, then
It's higher price points, man. I already gave you a good hint. Condos and townhomes, don't overlook them, and do never be scared of 55 and older. It's not that big of a deal.
okay, I was trying to.
I get
avoid
people.
those.
I made one of my biggest flips ever was a 55 and older community when I was a much younger person. Now, I'm approaching the 55 and older guy, so it's not an issue. So, okay, man, you got it. Get
Take
it,
care, man. Thank
CJ.
you.
Okay, see ya. Okay, let's see here. Hey, Michelle, I see your comment here. It says, I have a deal. The owner wants to move. So instead of accepting 130, they want to know if I can go to 150 properties in Florida. I got to get more information on that, Michelle. It's just not enough to make a decision on. So it's in a hot spot. So I need to know what the ARVs are on it, any type of repairs. And Florida's kind of a big market, but you can put it in the private chats if you want. So you don't have to put it out there. So, Jason, what's going on? Long time no speak.
Hey, Rick, how are you?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, thanks.
How's South Carolina treating you?
Oh, it's wonderful. I love it here.
Got a nice tight haircut there, I see.
Yeah, I buzzed it off, and then I kind of regretted it afterwards.
I did that when I was 9 years old. I did it on a bet.
Oh, you did?
When I did it, I go, man, I didn't really think this out. Like, girls are looking at me like I'm a special kind of guy. I'm like, oh God. But
yeah, it was a lot shorter than this.
Yeah.
Anyways, I won't take up too much of your time. I had a quick question. I have a seller I'm talking to about she actually lives in New York, but she has some property here that she inherited from her mother. So it's her and 3 other siblings. It's already been through the probate. So she owns 70%, and then the other 3 siblings own 10% each.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, and she's like, I've talked with her a couple times. The people who are living in there haven't paid rent for 3 years ever since COVID. So she definitely wants to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is when I look it up in the land records for my county, it shows that there was a big piece of property that like her great grandfather inherited, or he got it in like the mid 1900s, and he died, and it went to his 4 kids, 25% each, and then they all died, and it went to their kids, and then eventually it ended up to her mom, and now her mom passed away, and the seller I'm talking to and her 3 siblings own it. I don't know if they own 100% of it, or if they own like 25% of it, or because it was originally like 20 acres.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at is 2 separate pieces. One is an acre and a half, and one is like a half acre. So my question is, how can I determine if they own 100% of it?
So here's the beauty of this answer. It's not up to you to determine it. Like your job is to seek out motivated sellers and try to put the best deal together possible. When it comes to title and legal, you leave it to title companies and lawyers, because you'll hurt your head trying to like. That's a lot of stuff going on. I have one I deal right now. I'm dealing with 19 sellers. I'm just like, I give it to the title company. I go, who needs to sign what? And then it took, I did a deal. It took me 2 years, and that was 24 sellers. And the last 2 were like holdouts.
Uh-huh.
And, we worked through it. It was just, I learned a lot in the process. So take it to your title company, and then also ask your seller, when that crazy type of scenario, ask them if they got a title policy. If you got a title policy, you're in good shape. If you don't, it can get dicey.
What do you mean? What do you mean? The seller I'm talking to?
Yeah. So if they bought the property and got a title policy, there's an insurance policy that covers their butt if like they didn't get clear title on it.
Which means it was actually a probate. She got it from her mom.
Correct, but they still have to clear a bunch of hurdles to get it. And somewhere, like you go back before the 50s, a lot of places didn't even do title policies. Like it's
yeah.
And guys, I'm here to tell you, title is like a funny thing. It's so when you get older properties, sometimes in the deep South or up in the Northeast, you got 150 plus years of like title. It's complicated. It's complicated.
This is one of those.
Now, I will tell you guys, I own properties I don't have clear title to right now. I just don't care. Like there's some problems you and me can't solve. So if I can't get clear title, can I get positive cash flow? And that's always my second, because if you can't get clear title, nobody else is going to get it. So how are you going to solve the seller's problem? Doesn't mean you can't transfer the title. It just means you can never sell that property for full price with a title policy. I own several properties right now that my lawyer goes, there ain't no way in hell you're ever clearing that title. It's just never going to happen. I go, well, can somebody take it away from me? He goes, that's going to be hard to do too. So a lot of times if it's a messed up title, you either put it in a trust or something like that. And as long as I don't have to spend a lot of money on the property and I can rent it out, I don't care. Like people
so do something like creative financing or something like that.
So here's my deal is once you put more than like 25, 30 grand in a property, you need to have complete control. Otherwise you're probably going to get screwed. So if I can take over, so say you got that property and like there's just the title comes back and goes, listen, there's this property is so screwed up. We're going to have to go to a court of law and have all these opening things, and say it's not like say it's just $100,000 property or something like that.
It's probably even half that.
Okay. Yeah. So like, here's what, if you can't clear the title, and is the property functionable?
Oh yeah.
A lot of money into it.
It has a mobile home on it that she has the title to.
Yeah. So that's another gold mine there. So it's, I always say, listen, we don't have clear title. Like you want to get rid of it. You don't live in it. I go, well, what if I give you $1,000 and just shut your mouth? It's like, well, they can't sell it traditionally. So they're never getting 50 to 75. Like you might as well take some of it. Or sometimes I go, listen, it's fine. I'll tell you what, I'll give you $2,000 and I'll give you $200 a month for the next 10 years. Really? Like, remember, it's all like, stop thinking what your sellers want and start asking them. Go, hey, what do you want? And you'd be surprised. I told you guys about a deal where the guy goes, "Hey, you can take it. Just give me $300 a month." I rent it out for, I think, $1,100.
That's awesome.
And I've been doing that for 4 years now. I'm just like, he's like, he doesn't even care. He's like, and then what I do is I wait 3 to 4 years down the road. And then sometimes I go, listen, so even if you did that 200 and you gave him a grand or two, so 200 over 10 years, what's that come out to, like 20 grand, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So once you accumulated like $10,000, I would call him up and go, listen, I got some good news. I go, like the $200 a month payment. I go, I came into like some money. What if I sent you 10 grand? Can we call it even? And she's like, absolutely. So now that's, if you've established it's got positive cash flow, that's another thing you can do. And this is what I call creative financing without clearing the title. This happens all the time. And I learned a valuable lesson back in, 2009 to 2012. I had so many screwed up properties in short sales, and I noticed properties would sit 4 and 5 years, and I was scared to do anything about them. Now I'm not scared anymore. I don't care. Remember, the homeowner always controls the property until it's taken away from them. And so as long as I don't violate anybody's terms with their mortgage, I will do whatever I have to help people out. That's it. Banks constantly take advantage of people. Go on the counter, guys. Whenever you have something with a dirty title, I call it a dirty title. I love it because nobody else can buy that property except you. And the owner's like, well, what do I do? And you're like, well, it's unique. I'm kind of your only solution. Here's what I can do. And then you just go, and some of them are crazy. And then some of them are like, I had one the other day. They got such a messed up title, but they want 300,000. I'm like, you can't even sell it. It's going to cost you 50 grand in 2 years of your time. And she's 2 years behind on the taxes. I think she was on the tax delinquency. But if they're reasonable, man, like you'd be surprised what you can get away with.
Yeah, I think she is reasonable because she said she tried contacting attorneys down here in South Carolina. She said she can't get a hold of anybody. She's all the way up in New York. So pretty much, should I move forward with a purchase contract and try to assign it? And if it doesn't work, then move on to some.
Yeah, just try it. But like I'm just giving you ideas as you get more advanced. So Jason's been doing this for a little bit, so he's got some experiences. You're very good at finding problematic properties. Just don't be scared of the ones with extremely screwed up titles, because think about this: you can control a property without owning it. It's actually it's a beautiful thing. And I have to sit down with CPAs and lawyers and explain, like, what are these 4 properties for? I go, well. You go, what do you mean you don't own them? I'm like, it's complicated. I go, it's in a trust. And here, you go, well, you didn't call me I don't need to pay a lawyer to put it in a trust. Here's the deal. Worst case scenario, if I get it taken away from me, I'm fine.
Right.
He's like, you okay with that? And then we file, memorandums and stuff. Like, it's really going to be hard to go around me because when you cloud a dirty title, dude, there ain't no way someone's taking
Nobody
that
else can do anything.
I'm so confident. I just put a couple roofs on like houses like these, like $20,000 roofs. I'm like, because they're just generating so much money, and we knew the roof was compromised. So once we got in a positive cash flow situation, and the tenants paid for the roof, we put the roof on. Like whatever. Permitting was a nightmare. I don't even tell you what I got to do to get a permit. It's like, can so and so to sign it? I go, if I could go back in time 90 years, they could, but like. So I learned a couple secrets on like how to do that, but that's for another day, guys.
So there's tenants actually in this mobile home. They haven't been paying for 3 years. I can't even get in. I can't even get in to look at it. She tried calling them and they don't answer the phone.
Well, find out what the laws are in your state in regards to mobile home. I'm sure they still treat them like a regular residency there, but
it is.
They start posting notices and like do whatever you got to do.
Can I do that? Can I start that process for her?
So you want to be careful doing that because you don't have the legal title to the property, and as dirty as this title is, it could be a challenge evicting them. So I would get advice from your title company and possibly even a real estate lawyer. So I buy a lot of properties with problem tenants. The odds of the tenant going to court and fighting it are probably less than 10%.
Right.
So you want to size that up if they're going to go to court and fight you on it. If they know they got a dirty title and a problem, they might fight you on it. But remember, you can't actually go to court yourself. You would actually have the owner go, and most of the owners don't want to deal with that crap. So
Right.
you got to like get clarification before you do it. But listen, go try to talk to people. But when you start putting notices on the door and stuff like that, you can do it on behalf of the owner. Just make sure the owner's not going to freak out.
Yeah. No, she's really cool. She needs help.
Yeah.
Okay. The
And
only thing
you can just be a representative helping her out, kind of like a property management type of thing. And
yeah.
just, I always size up the tenants, like how the hell did I get you out of here with like minimizing everyone's headache and cost?
Yeah. How do I even get a hold of the tenants? Just go knock on the door?
Just
Or?
put a notice on the door.
Okay.
So if you have like a 3-day notice or a 5-day notice in your state, go ahead and post that and get it going. And just put a contact phone number on there. And they'll usually call you panicked. Like, who do you think you are? What are you doing? Go, listen, I'm working with so-and-so. I run property management for her, and she's hired me to rectify this situation. Is there a time we can meet? Can you tell me what's going on? And try to get their side of the story and just kind of go from there.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Rick. Well, I appreciate
You got
it,
it, man.
Thank you so much for your help.
Okay, man. I'll see you,
Have
bud.
a good day.
Later. Bye. Okay. So guys, if you are brand new to this channel, do me a favor. I want you to go over to freewholesaling.com. I put it there on the bottom. The only thing you got to exchange with me is the email. I want to help out as many people as possible. And guys, that's it for this live. We'll be on, Zach will be on tomorrow. We'll be on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If I missed you, I promise you, we will connect with you. So I see Eldorado, I see Tim, I see Malik, I see Miles, I see John. I'm not forgetting about you, but I actually have to live a little bit of a life outside of this. It's been a long day today, but guys, go out there, get deals, keep it going. And then if you guys tune in Thursday, we're going to give how we do submissions with our Monster JV program across the country. And we are probably going to be one of the largest buyers of wholesale deals in the country. And we're going to show you how to do this. We've had a lot of experience practicing over the last 3 years, and now we know how to turn this thing up. And I want to help you guys out as much as possible. So if you guys like this content, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. And please make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Check out my son's channel, Zach Ginn. He'll be on tomorrow at 1 p.m. I believe. It's usually cold calling on Tuesday, but whatever. And I appreciate it, guys, man. Go out there, get some deals, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. See you guys.